Good evening. We're here to you again to let you hear about a good video and what we need on this particular video. We need your thinking caps. We're going to come with some various things that sometimes it seems like it's out there, but it's really not. And we'll ask you, if you watch television, I say this, if you have watched television and you watch some of Spielberg movies like Lost Encounter of the Third Kind and stuff like that, you're going to hear some truthism that go right along with the Bible, but they're not going to tell you that go along with the Bible, okay? And not the whole movie. It's just bits and pieces there that go with the Bible, but you got to be able to know your Bible good enough in order to know that there's something about that movie got something to do with the reality. And this is some of the stuff we're going to show you. The name of this is Who is the Jesus in America 2020? Now, why do I say the Jesus in America? We know that the name Jesus, the J came out in the 1400s, but what we want you to deal with the character of the person that have been talked about in the Bible. In the Bible, they're talking, the Jews always tell you that Jesus ain't this and that and that. We waiting on David, okay? It'll be the same thing as saying, who is the David in America? When you're talking about David, you're talking about a political leader, a prophet. Who is the David? But I put up here, who is the Jesus? Because most Christians, they look at it from Jesus' point of view, and the Jews look at it from David's point of view, and you got other individuals look at it from the Muslim, look at it as the Mahdi. You got the Hindu and the Chinese looking at it as the Miley, okay, Miley. So you got different cultures looking at this individual, but we gonna use the term Jesus, and I know some people will say, "Oh, wasn't no Jesus back then." We're not talking about the name. We're talking about the person that is to be in the name, okay, not the name. We know that, if you watch some of our videos, we know that there was nobody named Jesus way back when. We know that. We're not trying to get that part over to you. We already got that in other videos. But the Jesus character, the Israel character, the David character, we want you to pay attention to this, because we're going to show you some stuff that we hope you're ready for it. And we're going to show you some sacred geometry that you may not have ever, I know you ain't never seen it before, but we're going to show you how it worked. And we're going to talk about Donald Trump on the tail end of this, because you need to know. People asked me, and I said it on the last video, they want me to, talk about some current things, talk about some things that's going to happen. Now, I want you to know something. The last video that I gave you, it talked about the impeachment before it happened and before they brought it about. And we told you that it's impossible for Donald Trump to be impeached and fulfill the word of God, because he is going to be here for a while to fulfill the word. Now, most people say, well, how in the heck Donald Trump will be? No, you got to understand something. Lincoln had to bring about a certain change when it deals with sacred geometry. And Lincoln brought about the emancipation. Now, Lincoln did not, listen to me, Lincoln did not want to free no slaves, okay? Now, that same energy of Lincoln is at Donald Trump time. If you look at the last video, you see how we explain that. So it's very important for you to pay attention to this, because we're going to show you through sacred geometry how you see Donald Trump at this present time. I'm not saying Lincoln was no saint by no means. Neither I'm saying Donald Trump is a saint by no means. I'm not boosting no Republicans, and I'm definitely not boosting no Democrat. I'm not boosting neither one of them. I'm talking about God's will and how you need to see this. That way you'll know what's going to happen, because politics is about what you could get, what you're going to do for us. And we got to come on and understand. I use a term a lot of times we need to block our vote. Okay. And I said, well, I talked to a friend, I said, I better change this a little bit and put it to something you may on the way you can understand. We need to have a super PAC. Okay? A super PAC. If you don't know what it is, look it up, Google it. Because the white folks dealing with a super PAC. What did that mean? You need to take your money and your resources and you need to back a candidate that's going to help you get where you need to get to. And you need to back a candidate that you know going to win. And I'm going to show you a candidate for the presidential campaign that I know that's going to win. Now, if God sent me, I must know what I'm talking about. Okay? And we got to see this. All right? Now, the only way, I'm going to say this, the only way he don't be there is somebody assassinated. Other than that, he will be there. Okay? Now, I'm going to say it like that. The only way he don't be there is somebody assassinated. And I don't think nobody been assassinated because there's a will that got to be happening here. There's a will and an energy got to take place here. And God wanted to be so. Yes, they assassinated Lincoln back in the day, and I agree. But Lincoln got an opportunity to make sure the emancipation went out. Lincoln had opportunity to see the end of the war. Okay? And later they did what they did. We're not looking for this to happen to Donald Trump at all. But we're not looking at Lincoln wasn't no best person. Oh God. Whoa, I want you to understand stuff. Y'all need to study history. And then y'all know where I'm coming from. And Donald Trump, I ain't looking at him as no best person either. But he got to do a certain thing, and we as people, and especially we as blacks, need to capitalize on what God showed us. Quit running behind a Democratic and these individuals out there having their caucus and all that. They ain't gonna lose, okay? They're not gonna win. And I ain't pushing nothing bad on them, just telling you the odds. They're not gonna beat no Donald Trump. And I'm just telling you what it is. They had their chance and they could never do it. They tried to impeach him to do it that way because they was afraid they were gonna lose. And just to show they're gonna lose. Now, what the blacks got to do is find out what we're going to do. We got to build this super PAC. What we're going to do so we could get our people to focus on who we need to put our time, our effort, our energy behind, and we need to come up with the things that what we want. We got to have a list of stuff on what we want. We want him to do. We got to put our money behind, our resources behind, our time behind it. People, you got to understand it. It's like putting your time behind Lincoln right now. And you got to see it like that. You got to say, hey, look, I want this, I want this, I want this. I know we can't own the territory right now, but I want our people to start staying in that area, and we want that American finance to help that, and we want them to stay out of our way so we can start building our banks and et cetera in that location. We ain't trying to break away from America, although one day we like to make our own place, just like the Mormons like to make their own place, like many people like to make their own place. But until that time, we're going to help make America really great. And we got to have that sentiment. We got to have that thought. And does it going to make us great? It's going to make us great. And that's what we got to see. How can we be great in the midst of making America great? Come on, my people. Let's wake up. We got to think about more than just ourselves and our selfish ways. We got to think about our children and our children's children. That's what we need to think about in this election, in this time. See, we teach Hebrew typology. And in that, we tell you about the 5 divine laws. Moral, economic, social, political, okay? Political, and diet and appetite. So one of those divine laws is political. So if you ain't involved in the political part and you talk about you following God, there's a problem. There's a problem. Okay? So I don't want to hear, oh, I ain't got nothing to do with politics. My preacher told me to stay out of it. Come on, people. Follow the 5 divine laws of God that's right in this book. In the Bible. I told you I don't teach outside the Bible. Thought brought me this book. The King James Version, I tell you, was thicker than this. So that means that this is a book of thought. And I must know how to master this book. I must be a chief architect if I call myself coming with the priesthood of Melchizedek, which is thought. So I'm not coming playing no games with you. See, y'all don't really know who's in front of you. And it's going to be a while in the near future that other people are going to be running this way and pushing you out of the way because you don't see what time it is. You really need to wake up, my people. I love you, I love you, I love you. But that stiff neck got to go. You got to begin to think more than just a working people and think about yourself as being a ruling people. Yes, you got to keep doing what you got to keep doing. You got to keep bread on the table. You got to keep this. But as you keep that on the table, And you walk around like you are. You got to understand that you sons of God, you come to set up the kingdom of God. So on the other side of your thought, you got to have thought in your mind and who you really are. And you have to back this organization to help you get where you need to get to and give you the true information you need. Okay, thank you. Now, I'm going to deal with the book, Judgment of America. We need to order this book, and we need to pass the book on to our friends. We need to start finding out what's really in the book. We got to really not just take the book and buy the book, but read and study the book. And also, just Black Nostradamus Prophecy of American Future. I have many people trying to come and trying to buy the rights to this book right now. And my friends tell me, especially my other ministers, no, don't sell. They know what you got. They know what this is. You got to know what it is, my people. You got to know what you got in front of you, my people. It's time out for ignorance. It's time for us to start understanding where God is coming from and who God has placed in front of you. People, I'm not perfect, but I love you. I love you because when I start studying this book and God keep talking about you, he talk about you, he talk about you, he talk about you in the writing. See, nobody brought thought to you before we brought thought to you in this book. Nobody. They don't even talk about thought in the book. You're getting thought right here. You're getting your Savior and your God, the Lord God right here. When Abraham said, when Moses heard him say, I am that I am, look at it closely. Hebrew typology. I am thought, I am. We need to understand this. Look at some of the other videos. It's taking you back to your fathers. It's saying, he will come in his fathers and the holy angels. You are the holy angels, people. You are the sons of God. You are those individuals. Come on, see yourself. Don't sell yourself short, okay? Now, let's deal with this. It's a very interesting video. Who is the Jesus in America? Now, why do I say that? Okay, before I read this verse. The scriptures say, for as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For wherever the carcass is, there will be the eagles gathered together. Now you got to see this. Okay? Now, I explained this last week. I'll explain it again. You need to know this. Okay? This book came to you through King James. Okay? This Holy Bible is about America, Turtle Island. Okay? The Holy Bible was sent to no other place. King James sent it to these islands, to Turtle Island, North America. Okay? Now, we got to see how this Bible and who have been here on this land. Why is it important? Because the Knight Templars, which we know as the Freemasons, but the Knight Templars, and I want to speak on the higher end, not the lower end, not the Blue Masons and stuff like that. I'm on the higher end. Those individuals knew alchemy. Those individuals, when they went over to Egypt, and when the Satarian was brought over here and that information, they knew who you were. And they knew what this land was all about. You got to know who you are and what this land is all about. When you hear them talk about Egypt in the Bible, they're talking about you. When you hear them talk about Israel in the Bible, they're talking about a future group of people that will be in this nation, okay? And you got to know that. You have to know that. It's very important. That's why you see me put a lot of emphasis on America and its relationship with the Bible. Sometimes in the Bible, it talk about Assyria and America taking the same characteristics of Assyria. It explains you in many different ways. The Amorites, it explains you in many different ways, but you got to know. You got to know the odds in order to know what this Bible is really saying. Because this Bible is in code, my people, and you cannot literally read it and understand it. You cannot free yourself by literally reading the Bible, although they have had our church to come with you from that direction. And you see where we at today, okay? Over 42 million blacks, I'm gonna say up to 50 million blacks in this nation, and you don't own and control your own territory. That's unheard of in the history of America or the history of man. Okay, never have there been 40-something million people on the continent without owning their own nation. We have a spending of 1.2 trillion or more annually in this nation, but we have no financial institution, no banks, no place that we could put our money to lend to our people. That have been unheard of. We have in the banks over $100 billion a year. But we can't build our own shopping malls. We can't have our own franchise like Home Depot, like Walmart, and many of the others, or some of the hotel chains, and many of the others, or farm areas like many of the others. We should not be like this, but the scripture have called us a caucus people, a stiff-necked people, because we have to come back to the laws of God. We have to understand the laws of God. And this is why it's crucially important. Who is the Jesus in America? Okay? See, the Eurocentric man made Jesus the Savior. Jesus didn't make himself the Savior. The Eurocentric man made him that through Christianity. Okay? You didn't know nothing about Christianity until you came here under this Eurocentric man. That's when you became a Christian. You was not a Christian in Africa. You became a Christian here in the United States of America. This Bible, although the Christian use it, this is not a Christian Bible. And many people will dispute that and say, yes, it is, because it was made for us Christians. That don't mean nothing. Okay? You could buy some pants, and a certain style of pants don't mean it's made for that Italian it is. It's made for whoever buy it and wear it. Okay? This book in the arts, now understand where I'm coming from. This book's in the arts is Egyptian Hebrew. Okay? Egyptian Hebrew. It's not Christian. Okay? Now, what I'm saying, am I saying don't be a Christian? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying let your mind go further than it have been in the past so you can begin to understand the word that's written by the initiates about God. That's all I'm saying. Focus on who you really are. You're sons of God. You're more than a Christian. You are more than a Christian. You are sons of God. Okay? That's what you was before you came here, and that's what you're going to be when you leave here. Sons of God, male and female. Sons of God. And you need to understand that. The gods have returned, and you need to see this now. Now, I'm going to read this. John 14, 2-3. In my Father's house are many mansions. That's showing you about dimensions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. Thought, now notice what I say here now. Thought, where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go, you know of, and the way you know of. Now, most people have accredited this here because you find it in the Bibles and read writing. But being an initiate and understand the arts and understand the language, Pardis, Pashed, Drush, okay, Sod, and the other one. You understand that this is a coded writing, and they put thought, where I am, there ye may be also. I know it's kind of difficult for people to understand because all they have read was that is Jesus talking there. That is about Jesus. People, that's not Jesus, that's an initiate talking. Never lose sight on this book. That's an initiate talking and trying to tell the other initiates what is going on here. And they tell you in Christianity, That's Jesus. Now, in a sense, it is Jesus, but it's the code name, Jesus. Not the Jesus that they show you with these pictures, and not the Jesus that you've been having in your churches, these statues, these idols. It's not that at all. And you need to understand this. This truth been hidden from you. And I'm going to show you some things that you need to know. I'm going to show you something that's dealing with our time. And it's very important. Now, I got something I want you to see. See, can I pull it up? Because you need to know this. Okay? Now, what I'm going to deal with, Ponce de Leon was searching for the fountain of youth. Okay? Now, how you get on Ponce de Leon? You go from Jesus to Ponce de Leon. We're talking about dimensions. And that's why I'm on Ponce de Leon. We're talking about dimension. What is this mentions? It's dimensions. What did thought tell you? What did the scriptures say you? That God created the heavens. Okay? Heavens have 37 different meanings. Most people hear the word heaven, they look up in the sky. Don't realize that heaven is here too. You just can't see certain things. And heaven is also a state of mind. And you got to understand these things about heaven. You got to understand these things about mansions and where they at, etc. Now, this may be kind of difficult for you to understand because I'm trying to get you to focus. Because if you don't watch all those lectures, you could begin to understand where I'm coming from. Now, if you're new to this here, you may not understand, so I'm going to do my best to make it plain as possible. You need to see this. Now, Ponce de Leon, where did he came? He came to the New World. What part of the New World? To Florida. That's why if you ever visit St. Augustine, you'll see a thing they got there, a display where you go visit. They call the Fountain of Youth. Okay, it's really not, but Fountain of Youth is a myth. It's a terminology. It's a mythology. They're dealing with something that have truth in it. Okay. Now, Ponce de Leon was searching for the Fountain of Youth. This is history. Okay. The legend says that Ponce de Leon was told by Native Americans, the Indian Native Americans, that the Fountain of Youth was in Bimini and it could restore youth to anyone. Now, listen to what they're saying now. We have told you that after that 400 years that man will become renowned, and he said to Abraham, "Thou will go to thy father in peace." What is the age of peace? Aquarius. "And thou will be buried at a good old age." Okay, now let's go back. The Fountain of Youth in this area. Now, why is that so important right now? Because God is going to restore you and going to give you your youth if you, like I said, a near-death experience, because they said the kingdom of this world will become the kingdom of our Lord and his Christ. Our Lord and his Christ. That means just like heaven is where a man, when you see people, a near-death experience, you see people in heaven, they look 30, 40 years old. Right here on this earth, they're going to look 30, 40 years old. Now, if that was said that it's going to happen after the 400 years in Genesis the 15th chapter, that means that something about this that the Indians know, you need to know. So what am I saying in this? What am I saying in this? Okay? Now, I'm going to try to explain it in the movie. You need to watch some of this movie dealing with Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's a movie that was done in 1972. Okay? And you all, 1977. And you're all going to see about the shipwreck, the ship that they told that this ship went inside the Bermuda Triangle, in the area of Bermuda, and it disappeared. And if you ever know, there's a vortex down here in this area where you'll see that some of the stories of the movies they show where the plane came in there, and when the plane was in there, they was over the water, but all of a sudden, the pilot seen land. And they seen land. They was in this vortex, and they seen land. It was normal land, beautiful land, and just like a place they could land their vehicle, their airplane. But before that happened, those airplane meters was turning all kind of ways because it was trying to tell you, you ain't in a normal environment. You're in a dimension of time. You're in here, in a dimension which we understand it and seen it in the Bible as mansions. Okay? We need to see that. Now I want to play this. Okay, now let's deal with this one.
The Bermuda Triangle, at least that's what people thought happened to a ship that just in the 1920s vanished.
But scientists have just determined that old ship is actually on the ocean.
It's about the ship.
Jessica Clark brings you this lost and found story.
This is the Cotopaxi.
That's a great name, huh?
It was a 250-foot-long cargo steamship.
That was sailing in 1925 from Charleston, South Carolina to Havana.
Can they see that clear?
It vanished. It and its entire 32-person crew just disappeared.
What happened is that the ship kind of became part of the Bermuda Triangle.
The place in the Atlantic where ships and planes just slip away. It was also the ship the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind found in the desert.
But there is that scene where there's this old rusty freighter in the middle of a desert, and we see the name Cotopaxi on its hull.
But federal scientist and diver Mike Barnett suspected the Cotopaxi was actually a shipwreck that many First Coast locals refer to as
The bear wreck.
35 miles off of St. Augustine. Barnett asked some shipwreck experts such as Chuck Mead at the St. Augustine Lighthouse Archaeological Marine Program to go to the site with him for a second opinion. So the wreck divers got a measuring tape and they measured parts of the ship.
Okay, pay attention to this.
We're pretty convinced we have compelling evidence this is the Cotopaxi. Mystery solved.
So what happened to the ship in 1925? Research shows it was a poorly maintained ship and
Unbeknownst to the captain and crew, they were sailing right into the mouth of a tropical storm.
so all this time, the Cotopaxi was famous for its Bermuda Triangle connection and movie stardom when it turns out
And it's been right here off our coast. Spear fishermen have been diving on that thing for years.
Jessica Clark, First Coast News, on your side.
Now, this is very important for you to understand. It's very important for you to understand this. Okay, could you click this? I need this, hold on. Now, this is very important for you to understand, okay? It's another clip I want to show you. This is very important for you to understand because this land have a lot to do with, this promised land that you have got a lot to do with other things that you need to understand about. It have a lot to do with what you see in the Bible as the Garden of Eden, who many understand as the same area of the city, the area of Atlantis. There's a lot of mysteries you got to understand here, my people. You got to understand this stuff because it is very important. See, when Steven Spielberg made that movie, then Close Encounter of the Third Kind, in the movie in 1977, you're going to see something as though they were showing these aliens being like saviors for you and etc. And they showed the aliens a certain way, which they wasn't, they was demons, okay? They was trying to get you to see something different. They wasn't showing them as human beings, okay? They were showing them differently. When they showed in that movie the ship, the Cotopaxi, whatever it is, that when they were showing you that ship, they were showing you that ship as something old in the desert of Texas, and they were showing you something as though it had came from out of the Bermuda Triangle to Texas, and it was looking old as old. Okay, and that's not what God wanted you to see there. He wanted you to know that in that area, in that dimension, just as Christine as it went in there, it'll come out the same way. And what they wanted to do, they told you that, oh, we found that ship. But I live here in Jacksonville. And the ship had a name on the side of it. And you had divers there, and them divers had been there for many times diving for over 50-something years or more. They would have knew that that ship was at them. And in our state of Florida, they have identified all the shipwrecks that they have found. There's record of, and they have identified. So all of a sudden, right now, at this time of human history, that is that ship. Come on now. And the reason it's important, because you need to know that there's some things happening right now that you need to understand about. And this may be way out there, but I'm trying to narrow it down so you can begin to understand what God is trying to show you. This land is important. This land is very important for you to understand. There's other things I want to show you about what the Russian president said about this particular territory. See, they trying to get this area for them because they know what's going to happen. See, that's why you see on, they took the TVs and was trying to change it to another frequency, because you having this frequency change. And you got some of these people don't look like us. They got to get up out of here. Okay? Because if not, you're going to see them like they really are. And we need you to understand what's going on. I'm not trying to scare you or anything, but you need to start knowing what's coming down the pipe. Okay? You need to know what's going on. That way you can begin to understand what God is trying to show you. It's very important, my people. It's crucially important. Now, I'm going to get over here now. Let's go to Genesis. Genesis 15, 14 to 8 to 15. Okay? And afterward shall they come out with great substance, and thou shalt go to thy father in peace. Thou shalt be buried at a good old age. Now, this is like the paradigm shift, people. It's a paradigm shift happening, and it's coming now, and there's different things that's going to take place. And you need to know what's going to take place. Why would he say, after the 400 years, after the nation going to be judged, and you're going to come out with great substance? What is this great substance? Let's get our mind off just material stuff. You're talking about reparation is one of them. Land is another one. Land is another one. But also knowledge. Knowledge of your true self. Knowledge of thought. Knowledge of how this earth really works. You got to know that, because at the time of the ancient Egyptians, those pharaohs used to walk out of one dimension into another. They would just disappear. The people didn't know where they were, because they were walking through dimension of time. They were walking through these dimensions. And that's why I said, in my father's house are many mansions. This is not a house that you, come on, people. This is dimensions of time. It's showing you a whole area, a whole another world, my people. That's why you hear him talking about the Egyptians, Osiris was the god of the underworld. And they make it sound like that's European saying, the underworld, like it's under the ground. And you'll see the pharaohs have many tombs where they'll have in the earth, they'll have it decorated with all those beautiful colors, paintings, and all that stuff, gold and stuff in there. They only put it in the ground, people, for them to have it to stay. And it was only an example of what they would be like in the underworld, as they call it. But it's not underworld, it's in the dimensions, okay? Walking out of one dimension to the other. They didn't walk out of a dimension in front of people and went in the ground. They walked out of a dimension and then they just disappeared. And people don't know this. Study the mythology of Egypt and you'll know this. So if that's the case here, and they're saying that the Bermuda Triangle, that vortex is opening up, that means that in that landmass outside of Florida, there's going to be a time when you're going to walk right in to to another dimension, a whole nother world, just like the world you have right here. Now, let's deal with it now. Let's deal with it. Because they never told you where the Garden of Eden was at. I'm going to say it again. They never told you where the Garden of Eden was at. If you read the story about the Garden of Eden, you'll see them use the term the Euphrates River and the other rivers coming, etc. Look at the coast of Florida, people. Look at that land mass. Use topographics. The Euphrates River and the Atlantic running along the coast of Florida is the same way. Look at it, my people. Look at it. It's very important to know this stuff. It's very important to know what time it is, so you begin to understand what God is doing in America. There you go, right there. If you see that very closely, you're going to see that. Sister Corinthia, could they see that plainly? I want to show them this map right here. Could they see that? Oh, I'm sorry. Could they see that? Okay. There, you see Florida. Here, you see the Euphrates River. You see the similarities. You need to know this kind of information, people, because you're going to understand what they mean when they talk about the Garden of Eve in the territory. We always hear the story, there's angels that's guarding it to keep them from going in it. It's simply dimensions of time. It's in a dimension of time. That's what it's in. So you're going to hear all the mythology, even the Bible. You cannot take the Bible literally and try to understand what it's saying. You got to understand this stuff. And when you get into talking about the Garden of Eden, you'll find out where it's really at. I told you that book was sent to America because it's about America. That's the same area that they talk about the city or the area of Atlanta was in. That's a myth, okay? But it's got some truthism in it. It's the same area that the native Indian told Ponce de Leon about in the area of Bimini. People, this thing is real. So when you hear somebody talking about the lost encounter of the third kind, and they use that ship. Now, know what I'm saying now? They use that ship in that movie, and that ship was lost in the Bermuda Triangle in that dimension that shifts over. This is what it's showing you. So it did not come back, like they said, a rusty old ship in the movie, and they did not find it in that water. Come on, people. We have divers all the time, professional divers all the time. If they would, that ship would have been there, they would have been unidentified. It got the name on the side of it, my people. And all them divers been going down there. I have friends that are divers, okay? And all them divers been going down there outside St. Augustine. They didn't know what it was. See, you be lied to, and they'll lie to you on the news, and you got to figure out why are they saying it like that. There's a reason why they're saying it like that. Because they don't want you to know what that territory. They don't want you to know what this territory is. During the Sherman papers, Sherman thing, you was given this territory. You know, and even you got Russia talking about a territory for blacks, and you need to see the territory that they want to give you. They go North Carolina, South Carolina, and they talk about Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, and Texas, but they skip Florida. What do they know that you don't know when they skip Florida? They left Florida out. No, they didn't say that that's the area you should have, and you need to see this. You need to see this. Could they pull that up, Corinthia, on the internet, that part about Putin? Mm-hmm. You got it there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I want them to see this because they need to know this part of this lecture.
Okay, you need to make it big. What are you doing? That's it right there.
God's small favor to ask you.
Okay, let me get off Bernie.
Please add your name.
After his commercial, we're going to see it.
A campaign which is the most unprecedented campaign in the modern history of this country.
There's been a new report that came out a few days
I
ago
want you to hear this.
about Russia was trying to target black people to want us to form a pan-African state on U.S. soil. Very interesting, I thought, when I saw that. They also know that black Americans determine elections.
Look at the area now. Look at the area.
We don't vote. They also concerned about the
They skip Florida, and it's all this area here.
Americans.
Same area we talking about, but it's skipping
China's
Florida.
opening up foreign powers to try to sow discord in America and cause tensions. So now we're at a point that they have to actually start treating black people right because it's a national security issue. But we talk about it a lot more on the podcast, and it'll be extensive a little bit. But make sure you go over to the podcast, check that out. You can download the Anchor app if you don't have it.
Now, the reason I showed you that is because there's some things going on that the local news, meaning the national news, is not telling you. They didn't tell you about what a president of one of the largest countries in the world, a superpower, is focusing on. See, I told you last week, the last lecture about the UN, and the UN demand that you have reparation. But see, they're not showing this stuff to you on CNN, Fox, and the other NBC and all the other news networks. They're not telling you this. They're not talking about that. They're not talking about that, my people. And it's time for you, and definitely not your boule Negroes, telling you what's really going on. These peoples is not joking about what they want to do and what they want to accomplish. You is part of the act. And you got to understand that. You are in it. They know who you are. You don't know who you are. You need to start waking up to the peoples who telling you the real truth and understand why these people have so much interest in you. Why do these Hebrew Israelites want to drag you or get you to go into Israel? Okay? And these people are more racist. You better start chasing the money trail. Who is backing these peoples? I ain't got nothing against these Hebrew brothers because they're innocent. But you got to get them and follow the money trail. Just like the NAACP and why they put it together. Follow the money trail and see why the Jews put it there. Come on, people. Quit sitting there and just laying back. You need to know these truthisms. Because God loves you. He got to work. He's going to do with you. And he's going to use Donald Trump to cause this to happen. Okay? And you need to see who he is. Now, every time I use Donald Trump, I have to show you that, hey, don't look at this man as no holier than thou individual, just like Lincoln. Oh, don't look at him because he said some things I don't like. Even Donald Trump has said some things I don't like. He's a Eurocentric, okay? Just like Lincoln was. But if you look at the sacred geometry I showed you last week and show you how to count the stars and how the time of the Civil War goes right on up to the time we're in, the time of the compromise about that land territory that we got at the time of the Mexican War, go all the way back up that line to where we at. At the time of the 40 acres and a mule and the Sherman papers, at that time, go all the way up to that line where we at right now. And that same energy got to be talked about and discussed right now. And you need to see this, my people, right now. You need to understand this. Now, some of you, I know I may be losing you by showing you these various things, but I'm showing you the seriousness of the timing. The seriousness of the timing. Where you're at, where you're talking about moving to, and how important that area is to even peoples in other countries. You need to see this, my people. You need to know why all this stuff, why all this interest is there. Why the UN talking about reparation and territory right now? Okay? Why is this so important? See, you need to know the reason why. And as you begin to know the reason why, you'll know where you're at. See, you right now at the time of the Aquarius in this paradigm shift. And you need to see this. And I'm going to talk about this right now. Let's deal with it. Okay? Let's deal with it. In Genesis 5:15-16, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet filled. Okay? Now, why would they say the iniquity of the Amorites are not yet filled? For the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Okay? Now, the verse, okay, you're going to see this in Genesis 15:16. Okay? Chapter 15:16. Now, the reason why in 15:16 is because you need to know Who are these Amorites? These Amorites are the Americans. Use Hebrew typology. What we got? We got the A, the M. Now notice that. Let's skip over this one right now. I got the line. You got the R, you got the R, you got the I. Let's skip over this right now. Okay? And this. Now where you fill in the gaps. You take the E, you put it over there. You take the A, you put it there. So what is left? The C. And what is these initiates saying? See America. Okay? This is America. This whole thing is about America. And you need to know that and know what's going on. Now, you need to know that. Okay, now we're going to get it in the possession of the equinox. It's another part of the arts that's in the Bible that you need to understand. Okay, now, why is this important for you to know? Because they're going to tell you what time it is. You need to know what time it is. Now, in the possession of the equinox, you got, this is how our earth and our sun go in this revolve like this, in the possession of the equinox. Okay, from here all the way around to here take 25,920 years in the possession. Okay, now people tell you, oh, Newton say, oh, the evolution, man, evolution, and all that. Get out of here with that nonsense. You know, it's time out for all that stupidity. Okay, oh, the pyramids were built, had to be built about, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago. Nonsense. People live all back in here. These people that was over here was more advanced than we were here. Okay? More advanced, because you have the Dark Age, which we're coming out. You got the Bronze Age, you got the Silver Age, and you got the Gold Age. These people over here was at the top of the top of the top. They was like gods over here. Okay? The ones even in the Bronze Age. That's why they could live. Now, I want you to see something. I'm going to break this down so you can understand. I don't want to holler. I want to take my time and show you the Bible in this, okay? Because you need to see this. Down here was the time of Noah. Genesis 9:29. This was the time of Noah. What do the Bible say? Noah lived 900 and something years, okay? The scriptures say man had become wicked. What do that mean? Not the literal part. What God was saying is man is finna to go into the dark age. That's all it was saying. They finna go to the dark age where they're gonna lose a lot of their knowledge, their ability to think properly. And in that, they're gonna lose a lot of their morals. And in losing a lot of their morals and their responsibility to each other, God was gonna limit their time. This time, no matter how many humans come to this planet, the whole human race gonna be tied up in this. This go on for millions and millions of years, my people. Millions and millions of years. Why do I say that? This planet is a school of learning of the gods. And everybody else who God permit to come here. Okay? And you got to see this. You got to understand this, my people. Now, from Noah time, Noah lived 950 years right here. I want you to see this time. So this time mirrors this time. Okay? And you need to see this. Now, what happened? Now, but you got to understand Sirius. Sirius come at the same time as this planet, the star here revolves at the same time. It has the same time of this one. Both of them. Both of them have the same time. Okay. Now, what you got, the scripture said that at 900, Genesis 9:29. Then he told Noah that man was going to only live here. Man was going to live 120 years. And God said he'd give him 120 years. That's Genesis 6:3. This is scripture, people. This is scripture here. But you got to know how to understand the arts to break it down. They never taught you that. They gave you a book, my people. They gave you a book. And when they gave you a book, they had the white massa sitting in the back of the church to make sure you didn't understand no more than the literal writing. And when they got that elephant got old enough that they weren't going to change his ways, then the white man didn't need to sit in the church. And that's what's going on right now. Your preacher is your preacher and the white man at the same time. He don't know he's that. But long as he teaches the philosophy the way that the Eurocentric taught him to teach it, he's serving two peoples at one time. Okay? The white man didn't give a darn. If y'all was teaching, they was teaching what supposed to do, he ain't have to sit back there no way. He done train you, just like they trained, the trainer trained the elephant to behave itself at all times. And the black preacher have behaved himself at all times by teaching you the literal writings. Okay? No arts. And the Jews tell you the Christians always come with their garment off. They have no arts. And you got to get out of it. You got to have the whole garments on, people. You got to have the Moses syndrome. How God prepared Moses with the rod. You need to understand what that rod is all about. Okay, now, this was the age of Taurus here. This is why you'll see them having the bull before Moses' time and Aaron's time. You'll see the bull was known there. And then Aaron's time, you see Psalm 9 and 10, it gave man 70 to 80 years to live. That's at the age of Aries. Okay? And then there go Pisces now. Now, it didn't say to Pisces what its age was, its time was. You got to understand the precession of the equinox. So if it got this time here in the dark age, well, this time here mirrored this time here. As above, so below. As below, so above. So this is 120 years. Now, in the age of Pisces, now, is people living up to 120 years. I have a mother now, right now, is 94 years old. She way beyond this 70 to 80 years. I know an older lady, she was a seer for the United States government, which I don't talk much about that because I don't want to get into that kind of stuff. She lived 105. She just recently died. Okay? You got people living up to 120 years, especially some of the Asians. They living up to 120 and some above, but some of them living up to that age right now. So you got to understand that this age is mirroring this age. Now, also, we're finna leave Pisces and going into the age of Aquarius. This age of Aquarius and this age down here of Gemini mirror each other. So this is why you see that we're supposed to reign with Christ for 1,000 years. That's the age. We're going into the age of Aquarius, the water barrier, as Jesus told his disciples. The man with the pitcher of water. That's the age of Aquarius right here. You got to know this stuff, people, if you're going to teach what the Bible is really trying to say. Okay? He has sent your messenger equipped with this knowledge. I'm telling you, I'm never going to teach you something that's not in the Bible. Only way I'm going to teach you that is go with what's in the Bible. So I can make it plain so you can understand. You need to have the understanding. When thought came to me, he brought this book. He took it out of the clouds and had it on the Holy Bible, but it was thicker than this. Them clouds represent the Akashic records, and that way he wanted you to know. And he called me into the priesthood. That is my testimony. Okay? They also said in the Bible, Jesus took the priesthood after Melchizedek. The same priest, same person. Okay? Now, when you see this, you'll see that this time is here. Now, let's deal with it. Now, when you're dealing with the precession of the equinox, what time we're in now? We're in 2020. Okay? That 400 years just ended if we look at 365.25 days a year, or we look at from the sacred geometry, 360 days a year, that was at that time here. So what we're moving in? We're moving in a time where God has said that there's many mansions. Okay, dimensions of time. God said also the kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of our Lord and his Christ. Things finna change, my people. You can get ready for the change. The nations know that. You got to know it. God don't want you to be like you are no more. He wants you to come up the par. wants you to think about nation building. He wants you to think about being world powerful people's renown. You are the saviors of the world on the thought, and you need to see your place. Now, let's deal with it. Earth and sun, A, that's right here. You see that. B, time of Aquarius, which is known as the air sign, is up here. That's why you see that we'll be caught up in the clouds and meet the Lord in the air. This is where the air sign is at, up here. You'll meet him what? In the age of Aquarius. What he told his disciples when they wanted to know the end. He told them about the man with the pitcher of water. The man with the pitcher of water is the age of Aquarius, when they want to know when the end will be. What is the end that they're talking about? The end of the dog age, the end of Aquarius. You must understand this. And I'm trying to make it as plain as possible for you to see this. Okay. Now, C is Gemini. Gemini is an air sign too. You got Gemini, you got Aquarius, and over here you got Libra. Those are the 3 air signs, and you need to see that. Taurus is this time right here. Okay, the time you went in after Noah. Aries is this time right here. The 70 to 80 years, the time up right here. Okay, this is a time of as they say, the time of Moses coming out of Taurus into Aries, etc. right here. Pisces, the fish time, you see the symbol of the 2 fish during the time of what we call at the time when the Christ time, or when we talk with Christianity, etc., came about. We got to understand Christianity started coming here, way over here, and it came into this area here. And who was the first Christians? You got to understand that. The people that followed Serapis. They was known as the bishops of Christ. You got to see these things, people. You can't just go by. You got to get your books. You got to take your books out. Okay? And you got to check me. So you could understand this stuff. I always say to you, check me. That way you're going to go deeper into what you need to know, and you're going to start having a full understanding of what God is trying to say to you. Okay? Now, Sirius is over here. You got to understand, when this star and this planet go this way, coming here, Sirius is coming this way now. This here is going this way. They're going to meet right there at the golden age, and then they're going to go and back over in there. And this cycle happens all the time. This is the Bronze Age, when you're going to live 1,000 years old. This one here, oh boy, you're going to live to be very, very old. But you got to understand, it ain't living old, and you looking old. No. A 70-year-old person, a 90-year-old person, a 120-year-old person, they will go back to 30 to 40-year-old in their what they look like. Okay? See, down here, you hear them talking about Noah building an ark. You think a 900-something person looking 900-something years out, frail like we said, build an ark? Come on. His age, he had done rejuvenated his age. This man looked no more than 30 and 40 years old. And a man looking 30 and 40 years old could do that. Now let's go over here now, because we need to understand this. This stuff go together. The Native American told Pastor Leon that the fountain of youth was in Bimini, and it could restore you to anyone. See, people don't know that this stuff and this stuff all go together. You need to understand that. When you understand the Garden of Eve and where it was located at, people saw the shores of Florida. It was off the shores of Florida and part of that area. But it was in a dimension of time, in another dimension. And God is going to open that portal, that dimension, back up to the sons of God. Because you're going to study war no more. And the warring people can't go in there, can't be allowed to enter that. You returning sons of God. So God have no reason to keep it shut up from you going in there. And you will go in that. And it's a whole nother world just like this world. And that's what Steven Spielberg was partially trying to tell you, but he was twisting it. And they don't know but so much, so they're going to tell you what it is, and they're going to tell you that it circulates around the lost ship in the Bermuda Triangle. Come on, go watch the movie and enjoy yourself with such a movie. It's an old movie, but it's still, when you understand this lecture, you'll get some insight to what's really going on, okay? And the people that are going to be coming and connecting with you is people, regular people, and not alien people. They're going to look just like us. They're over there in that dimension too. And they're going to cross over into this dimension, and you're going to see that. Now, I want to play this part.
You already played it.
Huh?
You already played it.
Oh, okay. I'm going to deal with that. Okay, now, I want to get this out of the way. I want to, people are, oh, you don't never talk about recent things and stuff like that. And but so last week I talked about Donald Trump, that he was not going to be impeached before it happened. And it happened just like I said, because he fit in the mythology. And you got to understand now, some people who follow this Democrat, Republican crap, the Democrats get mad because I say that. But I'm saying what God is showing me, my people. And I want you to see that. I want you to know more about Donald Trump right now in the election. So I'm going to show you the sacred geometry that deal with Donald Trump. And I'm going to put it up here. Move this back. So you can see this. Okay? Let's deal with Donald Trump. And I wanted to write it this time so you can see just how it works. Okay. Donald Trump. You got Donald. John. See, when I'm writing in front of you, I don't write it as well, so I just forgive me for it like that. But this is date of birth. Okay? Now, I'm going to use English geometry. I'm not going to write the English geometry. You can go in one of the other videos and you're going to see this. Okay, I want you to see this. This is how you know whether or not he's going to be able to be president again. Okay? Now, it's very important. I'm going to show you how it works. Okay? Now, I don't think Donald Trump is going to be assassinated no time soon. Maybe not, but I can't predict that part. But what I'm predicting is that if Donald Trump lives, he will win the election. Okay, I'm going to say it like that. I don't want to try to do it. I don't think he's going nowhere, being honest. I don't think he's going nowhere. So black folks, instead of you focus on Democrats, you better focus on such thing as super PAC. Take your money and your stuff and try to do what you can to get this man to focus on what you could get from the election. You let Barack Obama slide by getting blacks nothing. And you need to wake up from that crap. You just let him be just because he was black, you let him ride. No. Politics ain't about the color of the person's skin. The politics is about what that person could do for you. And you need to start seeing this. We got to wake up now. I love you. You my people. But we have to wake up. We got to see this. You take Donald is 14, John is 13, Trump is 22, and he was born on the 14th. Let's add it up. And what do we get? We get 63. Okay? We get 63, but Donald Trump, normally we use a ratio 1.618. Okay? And before we divide it into that, but you can't do it that way now. You got to put 63. You got to put 1. There goes 63. 1.618. Okay? This number is 63. And then we got 1.618. You got to just put it right beside it. Okay? Donald Trump is a little bit different. I don't want to get into that right now, but he's a little bit different. Okay? He's a little bit different. We're going to deal from that angle. Okay? We'll take 19 43 and 63, we get 6, we get 10, we get 2006, okay? 2006, I have 2009 here, I don't know how I get 2009, okay? Some kind of way I got 2009. I'm gonna put what I got here. I might have wrote it down wrong, but I'm gonna put 2009 in. I ship it around and I figure out what I did. Okay. You need to see this. You got 2009. I got 2009. Okay. I got 2009. I'm gonna do it both ways. I got 2009. So what it is, something I got here. 63. 63, okay, and maybe I did this, okay, add to that, and got 2009, but I'll show it, I'll straighten it later, but I want to show you something right now, but I think I did that, might put that 6 there with it, and got that, but anyway, I got 2009, so disregard this for now, because it's something going with this, okay, disregard that, and I'm just put 2009, you put 2009, and 2009, okay, 2009 and 6, you got the 6 there, okay, 2009 plus 6, oh, plus, 2009 plus 6, 2009 plus 6, you get 2015. This has to be, 2015 has to be important in Donald Trump's life, okay, 2009 again, 2009 plus 7, let's get the 7. You got the 6 and 1, it's the 7. 2009 plus 7, 2015. I'll straighten this out and I'll tell you how I did that over there. 2015, you got 2009 again, 2009. Okay, 2009 plus 8. Okay, you get the 8 there. Okay, 2009 plus 8, that'll be 8 there. Okay, you got 17. You got 2017. This got to be important here. All these here got to be important in Donald Trump's life. Okay, you got that one. And you got 2009 plus 9. It's 2018. Okay, you got 2018. So if you look at the history of it, you're going to find what Donald Trump did in 2009. I think in 2009, he was going to run for president. Somewhere back there, he considered certain things and he backed out. Okay. 2015, what did Donald Trump do? 2015, Donald Trump agreed that he was going to run for president at that time. 2015. Here, you got 2016. What did he do in 2016? He won the Republican nominee in 2016. What did he do in 2017? He became President of the United States in 2017. What did he do in 2018? What was important? He did several things. I think at that time something about making Israel the capital, or what he did concerning black folks, what he did there. About H.R. 40, okay? Then you got to see that, H.R. 40. Now, understand that you got this number plus the decimal, okay? And he was born in June, so you got this number, okay, let's deal with the decimal here. I got to show it like this. You got this number, then you got the decimal. And the decimal here gonna give him what you call 6 months or more, 6 months or more. So anytime you see these numbers here, or just say this number here, this number will go from 2018, because this spark is a whole year duration, to 2019. Please try to follow me on this, because it's not easy to do it from the board right as you do it. It's more easy when I write it on the board already. So you got 2018 to 2019 of June. So you're talking about between 2018 and 2019 of June plus a little over 6 months, and you add that 6 months of from June. You got June, July, August, September, October, November, December. December is going to take you from that over into the next year, and that's going to take you where we at now. So what you got June, July, you're going to go into December. That means, and June plus you got 6. So it's going to take you, let me see, January, February, it'll take you into February. Take you into February. It's going to take you into February of 2020. Now, no one could have impeached him when that take him into February of 2020, because it still was part of his spot. You could not beat him, people. Nobody could impeach him, and he was take his spot, take him into February. You couldn't beat him. So when you know this kind of stuff, you already know that. Now, what I'm trying to say, and next time, please believe me, I have it written down before I do this next time. I'm gonna have it written down. So I'll never do it, basically try not to do it like that again, because there's too many things I have to straighten out when you try to do it without already having everything on the board before you have a conversation with your people. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because 2020 is the election. 2020. Okay? Now, is anybody could get Donald Trump out of there? I don't think so. Because he's still sparking right now. Okay? He's still sparking right now. And let's deal with the mythology. The mythology is that Saul's son is to rule after Saul until David comes. So if David got to come, okay, if David got to come, that means that this person who's Saul's son gonna be in office until that particular David is a prophet and he's a royal, until that royal come. Okay, so that means also if Trump is in the ark that I showed you the last time, mirroring Lincoln, that means there are certain events got to happen under Saul's son, under Donald Trump. Let me put it here. Under Donald Trump, okay? Just like Lincoln, under Donald Trump, until this person comes, okay? That means that Trump and Pitt could be in the White House for a while, okay? They could be in the White House for a while. I can't totally say, yes, that's gonna be, because like Lincoln was assassinated, and they done showed the Simpsons and everything, they trying to show that this person would be assassinated. I don't want to get into that part. I don't want to put that on the President of the United States or no one. All I'm saying is that Trump being up here in the sacred geometry, let's deal with it again. I want y'all to see this because you got to know this one. You got to know this. Let's do it like this. You got to know this one. It's very important. That's why I'm trying to take my time out to show this. It's very important. You need to know this. This is 1864, 1865. This area here, this is 2000. 2013, 2019, okay? This area here, the energy from this area here, this a star, this a star, this a star, this a star. This energy from this area here is going to be repeated at Donald Trump time, okay? It's going to be repeated at Donald Trump time. Lincoln energy, the Emancipation Proclamation, and all that for man, the black man to have a territory, which is over here, and this is what they're talking about. This is why I played that Russian thing, the Russian involvement with Lincoln down here, the Russian involvement with Lincoln down here, and the Russian involvement with Trump up here. They are similar. They are similar. Russia is talking about there's a territory need to be for blacks here. Russia was talking about a territory need to be for blacks down here, people. You have a civil war down here. You really have a civil war up here. Okay? The power structure wanted to straighten this out down here. The power structure wanted to straighten this out here. The opposition, America was a republic. The Russian worked with Lincoln as being a republic, but you had the South, the Dixiecrats, the Democrats. They didn't want that certain things to occur. Now, what you have fighting up here? You have the Republican Party and you have the Dixiecrats fighting up there. Okay, you need to understand this. Now, this might not have been one of my best explained lectures. Okay. But please try to study what I have said so you can begin to understand all this here. Because you need to know this, people. You need to know this. It's very important to know this, okay? Now, Eldon Gennaro is one of the new individuals that send donations. And like we say, we want many other individuals. Later on, as I put so many new ones, I'm going to start back with the older ones here. We'd like you to donate to the organization. Donate to Louis Armstrong Ministry, 7536 Jane Lane North, Jacksonville, Florida, 32210, or to Cross Rock Incorporated, the organization, by mobile app, or you can send it to the address, but by mobile app, Give LaFi, and on the charitable. And also, try your best to donate to the new book. We're asking that individuals send $500 toward the new book so your name could be in the book. These names is longevity, people. This name will be in there for a while. And you need to be able to come into it and partake into, help sponsor this organization so the word could get out and the understanding could get out. Okay? And look at our other videos and please subscribe. And I say this in the name of the Almighty. Please partake in this truthism so you can have some understanding of what God is doing at this particular time of human history. And may God bless you and your families. Amen.